And now it's time for the worst films of 2013. I'm only doing a top 5 this time, as I didn't see many bad movies in 2013, but there were 5 movies I saw that were truly terrible. But as with my best films list, I'm bringing up 10 runner-ups to give you a better range of the 50 films I saw in 2013. Let's get the dishonorable mentions out of the way, starting with Warm Bodies. A surprisingly well-written, heartwarming romance movie and a clever little take on the zombie genre, and probably the best Twilight mimic, it's a very good movie that simply didn't stick with me across the following months. Beautiful Creatures, another enjoyable magical romance movie / Twilight mimic with a touching relationship at its center and some fun supporting performances from Jeremy Irons and Emma Thompson, it's, again, just not very memorable. Sharknado. It's a terribly made, laughably bad movie in every way, but it's self-aware about how stupid and awful it is, and it's ridiculously fun. The Wolverine. Like most of these honorable mentions, this is an entirely decent film with another good performance from Hugh Jackman, interesting character dynamics, and good action, but it's, again, just very forgettable. Man of Steel. This first attempt by DC Comics to create its own ongoing cinematic universe has some good Kryptonian imagery, an intimidating performance by Michael Shannon as General Zod, and awesome action, but it's still not a good film, as the characters are bland and undeveloped, the narrative is jumbled and poorly paced, the morals and Superman's powers are confused, and the tone is too grim. Star Trek Into Darkness. Again, an entertaining but terribly written film. The Great Gatsby. Leonardo DiCaprio is astoundingly good as Gatsby, and the film is packed with Baz Luhrmann's trademark visual splendor, but it presents the empty glamour of the 1920s too well, as beyond the aesthetics it's a melodramatic but bland adaptation that seems to miss the point of its characters, and Nick Carraway is too passive for you to properly invest yourself in the film's drama. Frances Ha. Viewed as an indie darling among most critic circles, this black-and-white comedy drama about a 20-something woman trying to figure out what to do with her life just didn't click with me. It has charm and affable characters, but the charm was steadily drained by the overlong running time and tedious lack of progression, and Frances, played by Greta Gerwig, who also co-wrote the film, just isn't an interesting enough protagonist to sustain the film. Runner Runner, a flat, contrived thriller with barely any tension or plausibility. Spring Breakers. As I explained in my review, this sleazy Harmony Korine-directed movie is very well made, visually brilliant, and even quite compelling, but I seriously didn't like it. I recognize how good the film is, but I didn't enjoy it at all. And now we begin the bottom 5 worst movies of 2013, as decided by me. I think it's a fairly safe list this year, as a couple of my picks are films that you've probably never even heard of, and the others are bad films that I'm betting you hated as well, and will thus agree with their placement. Let me know what you think. Here we go. Number 5. Special ID. A Chinese crime action movie starring Donnie Yen, my favorite action star. This is a slow, messy film in which the leads have absolutely no chemistry together, the undercover operations and triad dealings make little sense, and the action, while cool in parts, feels uninspired and derivative, with much of the choreography recycled from other Donnie Yen movies. Number 4. Mood Indigo. The latest film by French surrealist director Michel Gondry, this has thinly written characters, some of whom are altogether pointless, a poorly structured narrative that fails to engage due to the unconvincing relationships, and far too much self-indulgent, forced quirkiness in the whimsical imagery. Number 3. Only God Forgives. Not even intimidating performances by Kristen Scott Thomas and Vithaya Panzringarm, eye-catching camera work, and a brutal fight scene can salvage this morbid, uneventful, painfully slow drudge of a film, and Ryan Gosling's blank, vacuous acting is almost a barrier to investing yourself in the film. Number 2. After Earth, a boring, suspenseless sci-fi survival/adventure film full of contrivances. This is something of a vanity project for Will Smith, whose acting is flat and robotic in this, and a star vehicle for his son Jaden, who turns out to be a terrible young actor. And the worst film of 2013 is... Number 1. The Host. If Warm Bodies is the best film to take after the Twilight template, then The Host is the worst by a long shot, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as this is an adaptation of Stephenie Meyer's only non-Twilight novel. The Host, directed by Andrew Niccol, is hideously bad. It has a flat performance from Saoirse Ronan, irritating voiceover work from Ronan's other persona, a tepid, awkward, and mildly insulting love triangle containing zero chemistry, drab visuals, and a plodding narrative almost completely devoid of threat or suspense. Of all the films I saw this year, The Host was the most inept, embarrassing, and irredeemable. So, those were my picks for the worst films of 2013. I hope you enjoyed my list, and I look forward to reading your comments. Most of the films I'm looking forward to in the next month or so, such as 12 Years a Slave, The Great Beauty, and Blue is the Warmest Color, are 2013 films that are to be released later in Australia, as they often are. Other than Labor Day, Captain America the Winter Soldier, the final Hobbit movie, and, of course, the new Godzilla movie, I can't think of many proper 2014 releases that I'm looking forward to, so I suppose I'll wait and see what the coming year has in store. Here's to a good 2014, in movies and otherwise. Thanks for watching. Cheers.